Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my current updated foundation routine with pretty much all cruelty-free products. So if you are interested in how I have been doing my makeup lately, then this is the video for you. This is honestly how I've been wearing my makeup and my foundation, at least in like my core face products, probably for the past 2.5, 3 weeks, I want to say. I'm really enjoying everything that I'm sharing here with you guys today, so if you would like to see how I get this face, then just go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so I'm starting out with a bare face today, and my skin is clean, but I have toned and moisturized. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, because I think this is so important in like a very flawless looking foundation, is prime your skin. You can use lots of different primers depending on what skin issues you might have. You can use a color correcting primer, you can use a pore filling primer, you can use a hydrating primer. Use whatever works for you, whatever your favorite is. Today I'm going to be using this one from ARBONNE. I have been loving this lately. It gives such a smooth finish to the skin. It is similar to, I would say, the Porefessional from Benefit. So it has that pore filling effect, and it just really just gives you such a smooth canvas to work with. So I just took like a pump of that. It's cool because it comes with a pump, and I'm just kind of gonna press it into the areas of my face where I have pores, larger pores that is, and then just smooth it over the rest. And next I'm gonna go in with foundation, and the foundation that I'm using today is also from ARBONNE. This is the Perfecting Liquid Foundation, and I'm using the color Buff. I've really been liking this lately. It's nice, it has SPF in it. I'd say it's a medium to full coverage. So what I'm gonna do to kind of give it a little bit more of a dewy finish is also mix in the liquid highlighter from ARBONNE. Now I like this highlighter to mix with foundation because it is not glittery at all. It just has a really nice kind of sheen to it, just a nice kind of glow. So I'm gonna mix these together on the back of my hand. I'm gonna do one pump of foundation and just like a little squirt of the highlighter, and it's kind of runny, but I'm just gonna mix it together with my finger and then dot it on my face. Now when I put foundation on, I put it on the perimeter of my face. I like to keep as little product as possible under my eyes, and because I'm going to be going in with concealer later, I really just want this foundation mostly on the perimeter of my face. And once I've kind of dotted it on, I'm going to take my Real Techniques blending sponge. This is damp, and I'm just going to blend it in. I do think that this foundation is buildable, which is nice, especially when you apply it with a damp blending sponge of some sort. Doesn't have to be this one. It can be a beauty blender. It can be one of those little Chi sponges that has just come out. I've heard actually really good things about those. Haven't tried them myself yet, but hopefully pick them up this week to try them. And I always kind of blend the foundation down my neck as well. I feel like this foundation shade is a really good match for me. I'm super pale right now. I've not self-tanned in a while, but I feel like this is a pretty good match for me when I am pale. And I think I covered up the redness pretty well. I have a lot of redness like in this area of my face for some reason. I don't know why, but I think it did a really good job of canceling it out. And I love adding the highlighter to this foundation. It just gives it like a little bit more of a glowy finish. You don't have to add that, obviously. It's still a beautiful foundation on its own, but I kind of prefer a glowier look, so that's why I go ahead and add the highlighter in. Okay, next I'm going to start going in with some concealer, and the first thing I'm going to do is kind of color correct this darkness that I have here. I feel like I get a lot of like blue tones in this area of my eye. Not so much underneath for me, but it's like in my little inner corner. So I'm going to use a color correcting concealer. This is not technically called a color corrector, but for me it really does correct. It's got a very salmony kind of undertone. This is also an Arbonne concealer. This is the lightest shade that they have. And for me, I just kind of get a little bit of the product on my finger. It warms the product up by doing this, which makes it a really like smooth application. And I'm just gonna pat this into my inner corners and kind of bring it down just a little bit under my eye to kind of cover up that blue tone that I get in there. Now, I mentioned before that I really don't like to keep a lot of product under my eye, and that's because I'm really starting to get fine lines. Like, out of nowhere, I feel like they have just shown up and my under eyes are so wrinkly. I feel like, I don't know if I'm dehydrated or if it's just actually that I'm aging and it's just like, this is my life now. I have just really wrinkly under eyes. But for me, I find the less product I put under there, the better it's going to look. And I think it's also kind of about the placement of product as well. So my fine lines are really coming up over here. So as soon as I put too much product over there and cover it with powder, I just look like I'm 100 years old. So I really have been very sparse with the product under my eyes, but I still am liking the way that my makeup is coming out. I don't feel like it's, I don't know, I still think it looks good. It's just like I'm trying to use as little product under there as possible. So to highlight a little bit, because you guys saw when I put my foundation on, I really didn't put a lot of product here at all either. So to highlight, I'm going to go in with my NARS concealer. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Vanilla, and I'm going to put this under my eyes. And you can see like I'm not going up into that corner or too close to my lash line. You're going for minimal product in that area. I'm also going to cover the redness around my nose with this and use it to highlight. And again, I'm just going to use my damp Real Technique sponge to blend this all out. And I don't go for anything like too crazy and like highlighting game. Like, I don't like to look too overly highlighted under my eyes or anything. I just have to, I like to bring those spots on my face forward a little bit with the lighter concealer, but I don't like to be so stark. Like, I like it to look pretty natural, if you will. So once that's all blended in, I am going to set those areas that I put concealer with powder, with a translucent powder, but I'm going to do so with a very light hand. Again, adding the powder is where you can end up looking really cakey and end up aging yourself. So you just want to do this with a really light hand, very light pressure. So I am using the ARBONNE translucent powder as well. This is like a mineralized translucent powder, and this also has SPF in it, which is cool. And I really like this because it has like a luminous property to it, so it's not mattifying really. And I'm just taking this little Morphe brush. This is very fluffy, soft little brush with a tiny bit of powder on it. I'm going to tap the excess off and just lightly powder where I can put the concealer. I'm going to set in between my brows as well because I tend to get shiny here. And with the powder, I'm just pressing it in so I don't move around the product, the concealer underneath. Alright, so that's pretty much my base, foundation and concealer and primer. But I'm going to show you guys as well bronzer, contour, blush, highlight, and all that kind of stuff. So next thing I'm going to do is put my bronzer on. And this is not the contouring bronzer that I'm using. This is just going to kind of warm up my face a little bit, bring it back to life because I feel like I'm looking very flat at the moment. So I'm using the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the Luminous Bronze Lights shade. Love this bronzer. I pretty much use it every day. It's kind of holy grail for me. And I'm just using it on this really fluffy Morphe brush, and I'm just going to put this on the kind of outer perimeter of my face and kind of warm up my cheekbones with it. Okay, next I'm gonna contour a little bit more. And for that, I'm gonna be using Laguna from NARS. And I'm gonna take this little angled contouring brush from Morphe and just kind of sculpt my cheekbones out a little bit more. I take very little product on this brush because I just don't need a lot. And I'm just gonna kind of define the hollows of my cheeks a little bit more. So I make this face. And I'm brushing the product upwards. And I'm also going to use this to just sculpt out my nose or contour my nose a little bit. I'm not huge into like the nose contouring thing, but I do like to kind of just define where the natural shadows would fall on my face. So I'm just taking a little bit of Laguna on a MAC 224, and I'm just going to bring this down the sides of my nose. Very lightly, like very light hand, very little product. And I'm gonna put this here as well. And another little thing that I like to do with this is put it under my bottom lip a little bit. Just kind of makes your bottom lip look a little bit fuller. Just under the center. Alright. Now I'm going to do blush, and for blush I'm using a color that I normally would not gravitate towards, but I've been using it and it's actually so fun and so pretty. This is the Taffeta blush from ARBONNE, and it looks super bright in the pan, but as long as you just use a light hand with it and a fluffy brush, it applies really nicely on the cheek. Just a little pinky, pretty little blush. And I like to blend my blush upwards back into kind of my contour a little bit. Just makes everything blend. I feel like it's so pretty. It's very girly. It's summery-ish, even though it's midwinter here in New Zealand. Alright, so last thing for skin is going to be highlight, and then I can put my brows on finally, which is obviously the most important part. But for highlighter, this has been my go-to highlighter. I love this highlighter so much. This is the MAC Soft and Gentle, and I just feel like it's so perfect for my skin tone. I love that it's not too glittery. It just gives such a pretty sheen on the cheek. And yes, I know I mixed highlighter into my foundation, but I like that glowy look. So if you don't like highlighter, you don't have to apply it, but I love what a highlighter does for the skin. So just kind of putting this in a C formation here. And then I'll bring whatever's left down onto the apple of the cheek. And this is a Real Techniques. This is technically a contouring brush, but I love this for highlighter. And I'm just kind of going in circular motions to make sure it's nice and blended and not just like a stripe on my cheekbone. And then I'm also going to put this down my nose. First I'm going to pop it here on the tip, and then whatever is left, just kind of bring it down the bridge of my nose. Also going to put this on my Cupid's bow. And then just a tiny bit on the arch of my brow. Just to make sure we're really glowing here. You feel me? Alright, and then once I finish putting all the powders on my face, I always go back and set it with a setting spray. And my favorite is MAC Fix Plus, the Prep and Prime. I can never say that, I always get tongue twisted. Prep and Prime Fix Plus. I love this stuff. Just like makes all the powders kind of settle into your skin and make everything blend really well. And I love it. It's like refreshing as well. Alright, so now I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup. I'm going to do my brows and maybe a little something to my eyes, but then once everything else is on, I will come back and give you guys a final look at the finished look. Alright guys, so I went ahead and finished the rest of my makeup, and this is the finished look for today. I have really been feeling a red lip lately. My little lip combo that I have going today is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in Monte Carlo, topped off with the Clinique Chubby Stick in Magnificent Maraschino. I really love this foundation combination. Honestly, this is how I've been wearing my makeup probably for the past 3 weeks, I want to say. The concealer technique, the foundation, the primer, all of it. I'm really loving this whole situation. If you're wanting to try any of these ARBONNE products, if you're just wanting to try one, the thing I would recommend the most, to be honest, would be this primer. This stuff is seriously amazing and I couldn't recommend it more. It is a pore smoothing primer, as I mentioned before, but for me, the biggest thing that I love about this is it does not make me break out. So many of those other like pore filling primers just make my skin 1,000 times worse because they make me break out. So I really love this. If you were gonna try one thing and one thing only, I would recommend trying this because it is amazing. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I will see you in my next one. Bye!